Friday. Today we're going to be talking about how to be successful doing really hard long-term projects. And partly this comes from looking back over the things that I've been successful at over the years and looking at the pattern of success. And I actually played a game with some of the people that were on the most recent Adventure Quest trip, where we all told stories of our successes. Each then commented and identified the patterns that each person had that led to their repeated success over and over again. So here's some of the common ones that are common to most people's long-term success. And these are things like, it could be graduating university or writing a book or finishing a marathon or building a house. These really large, complex projects. And I've been thinking about this a lot as Superconductors, my first book, which is 65,000 words. It's coming out in July 3rd. So pre-order your copy if you want. But so here are a few of things that allowed me to finish that project. First of all, there was a clear deadline. The publisher set a deadline that if we didn't meet it, the book wouldn't have gotten published. And there are many things, such as parenting, which I'm also a new parent, that they don't have deadlines. They're just, you work hard at the time, and can be very draining to not know when something is going to end. So if you're writing a book, you don't have a deadline, or you don't have a real deadline, like you keep pushing it back and back, there's a possibility that you procrastinate. So have a clear deadline with some sort of stakes, some great benefit that you will gain if you do finish it on, and some negative consequence if you don't. So in the case of the book, I immediately got part of my advance payment, and along its publishing process, now it's going to editing and printing after I turned it in. So meeting that deadline was successful. If I hadn't, it would have gotten published, and I might never have been able to get published again. It would have been an embarrassment for me and for the publisher to not meet this deadline. So it's a real deadline with a stick and a carrot, stakes. So another important part is an emotional connection to the outcome, having not just a strong reason for doing it, but something that causes you to care about why you should. And for me, when I noticed I was feeling unmotivated to write the book, it was because I had forgotten or lost track of the outcome. So I want people to be able to take control of their careers. I want people to make more money and be more valuable and have more autonomy and all of these things which make a fulfilling career. And I wanted to get the message out of this book. And I also wanted to build my own brand and keep growing all the businesses that I've started, the Art of Adventure, Superconductors, they all fit together. And my connection, when I think about one person benefiting from reading that book, I think this could be so valuable for them. And just thinking of one person benefiting from reading something, learning something they didn't know, putting something into practice, challenging themselves, was enough to help me go sit down and write when I was tired of writing, or when I already had a big work day ahead of me and I had to go write at nighttime. So number 3 is that I had lots of help. And if you're going to do something big and hard, you need lots of support. You need some guidance to tell you if you're doing it right. If you're getting some feedback, in this case, my editor and other people reading the chapters. I also had financial support and lots of people voting with their dollars to support the book. We did a Publishizer crowdfunding campaign to start writing the book. That's what allowed the publisher to decide, they want to pick up the book. It gave me some money so that I could pay myself a little bit to write the book. And it was a vote of confidence that they thought the material was good. And then my family was supportive in bringing me snacks and helping me so that I didn't have to watch the baby more than a couple hours a day so that I could work on this book. So there was hundreds of people, different areas, right, that are all contributing to this book. I feel like I'm just the person that writes the words, and that job is actually fairly straightforward, and there's so many other things around. So whether you're running a marathon, again, building a house, writing a book, finishing a university degree, have so many people helping you. And when you can set up structures, support structures, be way easier for you. The fourth important consideration is to maintain and manage your energy. And part of this is, again, that motivation, that emotional connection to the outcome. And part of it's the super basic mental, physical biological, emotional energy that allows you to show up and work hard each day. So writing a good book, takes a lot of focus and hundreds of hours. And if you show up sleepy, or if you show up sick, hungry, or grumpy, or any of these things, it's going to make you slower. It's going to make your writing not as good. And so just doing the bare minimum of getting some sunshine, getting some socialization, human contact, plenty of love, plenty of good food for your vegetables, drinking water, all of these things just to maintain your physical body, which is where your brain resides, in order to have that really high output of focused thought is so important. So number 5 is tracking progress. Actually, for a while, I was just writing without knowing how many words I had written or what kind of progress. I thought, I'm about halfway done with the book. I'm halfway done with each chapter. But I didn't really know, and it wasn't until I started counting the words each day that I was able to see how much closer I was getting. Even if I had only written 500 words, 1/120th of the book, I could chart a little bit of progress, a little bit completing it. And just, university, for example, does this naturally for you. You have all the courses that make up a university degree. And within those courses, there's each of the individual classes and exams and homework assignments and all these little steps. You closer, and you're tracking your progress, measuring, you're seeing what you've done. And so this is really important so that you can also judge how efficient you're being with your time. You can see the output of your work in some sort of measurable way. And finally, number 6, I think it's really helpful to use your experiences of doing other hard things. We've accomplished and learned many things over the course of their lives, and they get more and more complex. Sit up as a baby to walk and talk, to finishing university, or competing in a sports event, or learning a language, all of these things, they get bigger and bigger. And so you can rely on capacity, focus, and engage in your work and deal with the pressure and grit of hard push through when you're not an expert. For me, sometimes I found myself thinking about games and how I could play a game with the book, or the running races I used to do, where I was simply competing with my own ability to push myself into the pain cave. I often thought about university, how it seemed like it went by so fast at the end, but when you're in the middle of an exam and you're trying really hard to remember the answer, everything is so much slower. And I knew that this project would complete if I simply showed up enough times and wrote enough words and had all the in place. And then it became simply bringing together all of the previous skills and effort that I had trained myself to do for another even bigger project, right? And now that I've finished the book, this is the biggest thing I've ever done. And the next thing will be even bigger. And this will just be another step along the way, another bit of practice. So have a look at your success patterns, or what's been really helpful for you in the hardest things that you've done. And hopefully some of these steps have been useful for you to consider when you want to do the next really big thing. And I would love to hear what's working for you implementing. So you can reach out to me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram is my favorite currently, or leave a review in iTunes. Would love a review of The Art of Adventure, and it really helps the show. That's all for today's episode. We never seem to get under 5 minutes. This has been 11 Minute Fridays. Now it's your turn to go out there and be adventurous.